poker player in a live tournament reveals his cards, yet wants to play the hand.
All right, he still has a hand. We're gonna proceed with this hand.
Let's crush. Food prep is done. Burger, eggs, sauerkraut, fruits, and a banana. Has to get us through 14 hours of grinding. Let's go. And she's gonna win the Colossus. Excited?
Very much.
Are you gonna crush some tourists?
Yes. Czechia is a tourist.
Today we have to make it count. Today we have to make it count. Look at this fucker over there. He said, it's gonna be so jammed. There's gonna be so much traffic. We have to walk. Look at this. No traffic. No. Because of this idiot.
Spot on reads today.
We're gonna miss a couple of fans. Walking is gonna be so much faster. Today we're gonna play a big field, the fucking Colossus. Let's do it. I'm still super happy. My sleep is good, my diet is good, we're food prepping every day, we're working out. Your diet, you're working out, you showing up. This is in your control. There's only one person that can fuck that up, and that is you. We got Jabuti over there. Hello. Cheers. Good luck. Good luck. All right, let's find our table. Please 10. I mean, it's good draw. The problem is if you have the ace in the draw, I'm drawing dead. You got the ace 10 in diamonds. Ace 5 in diamonds. Deuces. It's too big. Nice hand. Yeah. Ace 9 diamonds. We had a break, and the very first hand after the break, blinds went up to 250, 500. I opened under the gun, 1200, and the big blind calls. The guy who just played the pot against with the queen 9 diamonds. So he went up to, I think now, 17,000, and he goes all in. So it's a little bit over 30 big blinds, 32 big blinds. He actually told me in the break that he had a flush draw. He didn't want to tell me if it was a king eye flush draw, ace eye flush draw. But I think with all of the hands against an under the gun range, it's not a spot where you just want to check jam your flush draws. Maybe if it's like king 4 in diamonds. But it was very important to me as an information to make the decision where he's not afraid to put in his stack. Of course, he can have ace king, but especially in these bigger fields, I have seen shit. I've seen people just going broke with ace 3 off for 35 bigs or like ace 8 suited. So I have ace queen suited. Of course, it doesn't feel well for 32 big blinds, but these earlier stages, people love to gamble. So I just went with my instincts here. I tabled ace queen suited call, of course, and he shows me kings, which I was a bit shocked because I thought he would 3-bet those. So very often we would run into ace king, ace jack, ace 10, of course, maybe some king queens. And we just got to accept the fact that we ran into a big hand. We want a break. We're just reserving a table for the dinner break tonight. Jack Binion Steakhouse. I'm short. Once again, 20 bigs. Called off and all in with ace queen suited for 30 bigs. It's a pretty splashy guy. Somehow he wakes up with kings. Can't make that shit up, to be honest. So yeah, just cruising around 20k, blinds 400, 800. Now it's gonna be 500, 1k. And we have a bit of a longer break because the Colossus is just absolutely exploding. So many runners. So in these two different rooms where they're running the tournaments, one room is far behind because they haven't had enough tables. So now in one room where we are playing at, they have to extend the breaks in order for the other tables to catch up because they are now 2 blind levels behind. So that's why we have longer breaks, and we're just walking around and making plans for tonight for the dinner break.
All right, he still has a hand. We're gonna proceed with this hand.
But,
Yeah,
can he raise?
What's that?
Can he raise?
This hand might look quite spewy, but again, I made my decision based on the way my opponent has played. It's totally fine in theory. I get king 3 off in the big blind. I have around 20k. In chips, blinds went up to 300, 600. He min raises on the button. He was sitting 2 to my right. And XG, he was, from all the players sitting to my right, the 3, 4, 5 players to my right, he was the one also playing very loose, opening a lot of pots, but he was also folding a lot against 3-bets. So I thought it's a good spot. I haven't been 3-betting a lot. I haven't been playing a lot of hands. I was playing pretty solid. I didn't get a lot of good hands. to throw in a 3-bet. It's a fine 3-bet in theory, but I would only do it when I know my opponent is also capable of folding, which typically live in these fields I've been playing, people really didn't like to fold the 3-bet. If they have a queen 8 suited from under the gun and cut off 3-bets, they would take a flop. So here it's very important. Guy opening a lot of hands has been folding to 3-bets as well very often. So I thought it's a good spot. So I raise it up to around 4K. He calls. And now on the flop, we make a pair and the nut flush draw. So it's an ace high board. Third pair was like ace 8, 3. We have king 3 off. All diamonds. We have the king and diamonds. I have several options. Just jam or bet small, call it off. But we had a little bit over pot left. And he decided to jam after I checked. Because I thought if I bet, he's going to basically continue with the same hands as if I check and he bets, right? If he has king, queen off, queen and diamonds, king, jack off, jack and diamonds, king, 10 off, 10 and diamonds, all these kind of hands are very likely going to bet, or I don't mind the check back as well and then betting the turn. But additionally, I also get some random bets in, right? When he thinks I'm on queens, no diamond, or I'm a random give up, he might stab something like jack 10 in spades, trying to bluff me off my hand. But those hands would fold if I bet. And my hand doesn't really need any protection. So I decided to check. He puts me all in. I have a snap call. He shows king, queen with a queen and diamonds. So we're in fantastic shape. But unfortunately, board runs out high. There's another king on the river. And we're splitting the pot. So the biggest pot and most interesting hand I played on my first bullet. Under the gun, the best player on the table, played pretty solid, open raises. We have ace-9 suited in the cutoff. The hijack calls as well. We have around 30, 35K, I think 30K. Blinds were 500, 1,000. So he raises 2,000, 2.2,000 or 2.2K. We call and we go 3-way to the flop. So we have now around 9,000 in the middle with the blinds, antes, and the open raises. And he bets 1/3 on 7-6-3. 2 hearts. So we have a flush draw, the nut flush draw. He bets 1/3, so he bets around 3K into 9K. Hijack forwards, we call in the cutoff. Now there's going to be around 15,000 in the middle. And we have around 27 behind, 26-ish. Offsuited 9 on the turn. So we have now top pair, top kicker, and a nut flush draw. And now he does something I did not expect. He pots it. He bets 15K. And I was very confused. And I thought, all right, usually this could be a lot of different things. I mean, it's strong. I don't think he's folding. But since he could do this with committing draws like king high, heart, queen high, I think queen 10, jack 10 has a gutter or straight draw and a flush draw. So yeah, I've seen some weird shit. And I jam my 27K. Of course, he calls and he shows me a set, which I did not expect, if I don't hit the top pair, I'm always folding. I think it's a really poor sizing. If I don't make my top pair, that gives me additional outs, I would fold the turn, right? Because I know it's essentially an overbet all in and we just can't call with a naked flush draw. But now since we have a male hand and a flush draw, and even if he has 10s and jacks, we are in a decent shape. We even probably get the odds to call it off if we consider here and there some weak flush draws, then we're doing totally fine and we have a profitable stack off on the turn. But now him having sets, I don't know. I was really confused him showing up with this hand. I mean, that's live poker. You have to expect those random plays. Yeah, we call it off or we go all in. He calls and we don't hit our flush on the river. We are out for the first bullet and we're heading straight to the registration desk for our second bullet.
I was just looking around and somehow my phone started buzzing. My donking sensitivity went up, and then, whoa!
Let's go find that donkey, man. Like, if the donk meter's going off, we gotta find it.
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
It's good, man. It's good. Bencb, for a chance to win a pair of all-in glasses, who won the heads-up match between you and Greg Goes All In back in 2021?
Greg.
Correct.
All right, rebuy, we go again. Was a weird hand. Anyway, we jump into the second bullet. Let's go.
Second bullet, we're actually doing quite fine. We had a lot of good pre-flop hands and I also doubled up once. But unfortunately, queens, I had kings, I had tens. Most of the time I got outflopped. So that can really hurt your stack. So I was down to around 32K. Blinds were at 1,000, 1,500. And we found ourselves in an excellent spot to pick up chips. A very loose player from middle position open raises, hijack calls, where his range is really, really capped. Apart from the occasional low play, he's never really going to have a better hand here. We have pocket eights in the cutoff, great spot to reshove. Unfortunately, small blind wakes up and we run into kings. So we don't get any help, and now we're very short, down to a few big blinds, and we try to get lucky and spin it up again. Absolute crazy hand. We're down to our last 2 or 3 big blinds. We get Jack 7 suited in the big blind. Under the gun open raises, button calls, and we call or we put in our remaining chips. So we're all in. Under the gun calls, button calls as well, the remaining chips. And we get to the flop, 10, 9, 8. We have Jack 7. We flop the second nuts. I mean, we have a real shot of tripling up or quadrupling up to back to 12, 13, 14, 15 big blinds. Under the gun bets again, button re-raises, and then under the gun goes all in. And under the gun shows pocket nines. The button has queen jack off. So he flopped the nut straight, he holds. Fortunately, we're out. I mean, can't flop better than that, but it was not good enough. And that's GG.
Busted the Colossus. Yeah, just big pots are just not going my way. Not hitting, bottom range, not even good hands to bluff, not even the right opponents to bluff. It's a bit, doesn't feel nice. I mean, I have to admit, sitting here, we're since 10 a.m. now grinding for again 10 hours. Every day one, we're either making it close to the end of day 2. Sit there, grind for 14 hours. The hourly is an absolute catastrophe right now. But nothing you can do, we just keep going and just wait for the others now. For the dinner break, we have dinner together here at Jack Binion's, reserve the table, and then heading home. Colossus, second day, third bullet. I'm heading now to the registration. Gonna be quite short, but try to spin it up. Let's go. The line that goes from there, there, and even the line goes multiple rows over there. So then it goes here, comes in here, and then all over there. Probably an hour and a half of waiting. But it's what it is. Just for the late registration. So if you have to buy a ticket, probably have to wait another 30 minutes. So if you don't start right from the beginning, you might wait 2, if not even 3 hours. That's pretty insane. But today we have 7,300 entries. Yesterday I think 7,000 to 18,000. So it might be at 15, 16, 17,000 runner for a live tournament, which is pretty sick.
Colossus, the second day, another flight, another chance for us to qualify for day 2. So this is my first bullet, played a couple of pots, got a new table, pretty good table, a lot of loose players, a lot of recreationals. Was a really fun vibe there as well. And the guy to my right, pretty chatty, loved to talk to me, ask me questions, etc. Being a very nice person. So he limps in, pretty loose, very wild pre-flop. We get queens, I raise to 3K, big blind calls as well, and the limper calls. So we take it 3-way to the flop. So we have around 11K in the middle, and flop comes king 9-5. Suits are relevant. There was no flush draw, big blind checks, the hijack checks, and we're in the cutoff check as well. I think betting is fine. I think checking is fine as well. There are not too many draws. We don't need much protection. Big blind checks. And now the hijack bets around 7 to 8K, which was where I was a little bit suspicious about his bet, and this is very important for my decision making on the river, is he didn't really care how many chips I have. And I think usually when you have a strong hand, your natural instinct is to try to fake it a little bit, to ask how many do you have, to look at the big blind, to make sure, okay, how much do they have behind? How can I get the money in on the river? So when you have a good hand, I think you do it automatically. And very often when you have a bluff, And I've seen this a lot now with recreationals and players who might not be experienced. I think he was very experienced live, but I think he still had a lot of tells. So he didn't look at all. So I saw that and I was like, I mean, this bet is a bit weird. So the thing is, I've, of course, seen players overplaying the hand. So there's still ace nines, there's jack nines, 10 nines that bet big, that want to end the hand. So I think even without the read, I would still call. So there's now around 27, 28K in the middle. We have, 23K behind and or 22K, but whatever. And big blind folds. The river is a blank, think another 8. So the board is king, 9, 5, 3, 8. So the turn was a blank. The river is another blank. I mean, 6, 7 gets there, but still all the jack tens, queen, jack, queen tens. And he thinks for a few seconds and put me all in. Unfortunately, I don't have this hand on my GoPro because my battery was empty. I was just charging it. So yeah, a bit unlucky that this hand is not on the GoPro, but I still remember it vividly. So now on the river, again, he bets, doesn't really care about my stack. I mean, I think now it's pretty obvious, like with a glimpse that you can see I have less pot left behind. But I think on the turn, it was a very interesting read. And he puts me all in. Of course, I have to think things through. And I was waiting for a minute. And what stood out to me is that he was pretty nervous. And then at first, I was like, all right, if he has a good hand, big pot, it's normal that you might be nervous. So I was waiting for another minute, and he was still nervous. He was breathing very heavily. I could also see that he was trying to suppress it, but he just didn't stop. I was suspicious, and I thought, okay, let's wait another minute, and he was still nervous. He was still breathing very heavily. You could see his chest. You could see his pulse pumping. So then I was like, okay, dude, then I'm not going to fold. So I call, and he shows me 10-8 off for a very out-of-line bluff. And we scoop a nice pot. Very happy that this hand went my way. And with those reads, it was a rather easy call on the river then. And also what is always interesting is that at this point, I realized every time so far, when people have been very chatty, very nice, they always try to make crazy bluffs against me.
Jesus.
Nines against queens.
That's what happened to my nines. Nines and queens. I get sticky, but ace pop too.
9 is coming. Easy. So easy. 9, 9, 9, 9.
You don't want 3. Ace. No ace.
7. Club doesn't help.
It's still a 6.
It still looks the same.
Just right before the dinner break. Now reboard for 10 big blinds. It was a pretty good table. I had the loosest player to my right. There was the guy that bluffed me with the 10-8 off. His ranges were all over the place. The rather solid players to my left that were also rather tight. So yeah, but for 2 hours couldn't hit a hand. The queen call down was the only somewhat decent spot for me. And then just being carded and 3-4 times where I did ace queen off or king 10 off, just completely with the board. Low boards, especially then from when I opened from under the gun, the guy to my right would defend his blinds. Always low board, 4-5-6, 5-6-3, and this kind of crap. Also didn't have any hands to 3-bet him, defend the button, jack 4 off. This is a kind of table where you don't need very good holdings. Just give me something, something to defend my button, something to defend the blind, something to bluff 3-bet with. In these spots, I would ISO 3-bet really wide, small, even with 25, 30, 35 big blinds works really well because they open too many jack 9 off and king 3 suited and all these kind of hands. If they fold them, you print with the fold equity. If they call them, if you 3-bet hands like king 9 suited, king 8 suited, jack 9 suited, your equity is really good and you have position. So it doesn't really matter how they respond. It's just a way better strategy in these kind of scenarios. But yeah, then got short, rejumped 17 bigs from the button. Again, dream spot, hijack, also relatively loose. Opens, cut off the table, spot, calls. button, we have nines, we're laughing, we jam, small blind wakes up with queens. It's just insane. Nothing we can do. So now I'm just grabbing the break. Ah, look who we find here, Mr. Eki. Hey, I was just recording for the vlog.
Oh, nice. Hey guys.
Say hi to
How are you?
Eki. How's it going? Where are you playing?
Yes, really good. I just got here yesterday actually, so I think I'm gonna play main event.
Okay, mini
Actually,
main.
yeah, main event first. I just play main event and then I see maybe more.
See you at the GG party.
See you at the party,
It
man.
was a pleasure to meet you.
He thought he was big blind. He turned his hand over and threw his small blind in and wrecked the chips back.
But never turned
But
his
you
hand.
put it back, and now.
Okay.
He turned his hand over and then pulled the chips.
Did all this happen like once action got to him? It was only
Yes.
you two left in the hand. All right, he still has a hand. We're gonna proceed with this hand.
But yeah,
Can he
then
raise?
What's that?
Can he raise?
Action was on him. He put his cards forward and then pulled them back.
Correct.
Right. That's okay. He didn't complete an action out of turn. His hand didn't get mucked. That's okay. Now, did he just announce a raise here? I didn't hear it.
yeah, but the first time I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go ahead and put the hand.
Well, I know what you got.
So you get bluffed on this one. So.
I was hoping he would maybe forget.
Or
You could just slap the nuts and be alright.
nice bluff.
We're down to 7 big blinds. We get queen 3 suited in the small blind. Fist pump snap all in. Fantastic spot EV wise. Very profitable jam. We haven't gotten any hands. I mean, you late rec with 15 big blinds, so 1 or 2 orbits going through the blinds. You get short pretty quickly. So yeah, we jam this hand. Fortunately, big blind wakes up with a hand, and we cannot hit our hand. GG Colossus, another tournament, another no cash, but we keep fighting, and we're gonna go for more tournaments, of course. So see you guys in the next vlog.